Alright, so we've seen a lot of stuff floating around, of course. I wanted to see Max's translations on stuff. It looks like it's a massive post. But it will be, yeah, this is when you get your 6th job. Big ol' animation, like I said before this, but I hope that this time when they give you the beautiful animation on the screen that they work so hard for, they don't also open up your matrix screen and just cover it completely and you just only see a glimpse of it and then it just plays in the background behind your matrix screen that has opened. I hope they don't do that again. But let's see the intro, what Max has to say here. So finally 6 jobs, skills have been added to the test world for a few days already, of course, since Thursday, I believe. Patch actually came out on Thursday. Yeah, it's been a few days. I should stop saying that, because every single time I say something like that, he just writes it, one sentence. I was beating some other stuff, and it did take a while to write everything out. Also, the effects of the 6 job origin skills were way too big, like each one would be 20 megabytes plus GIFs, and some have multiple versions for different genders. So I decided not to include those, especially since I don't have that much storage space left on WordPress, lol. Okay. Instead, I'll include Margum's videos that you can follow along with, which show off every 6 job skill. Gotcha. I'll show the difference between the base skills and the enhanced versions. Maybe add them in for a final post, but they'll probably have to be hosted somewhere else. Damn, I mean, I wonder if that's a good thing or a bad thing that he's like running out of running out of storage space. Information, videos, skills, and then enhancements. So it's really just purely 6 job stuff. New powered face, new age, 6 job advancement have been added. In the test world, all Hexa skills will be acquired instantly for smoother testing. Skill sound effects will be added later. Those are probably going to be crazy. The core goal of the test world is functional tests for the newly added Hexa skills. Therefore, to allow for smooth testing, all characters level 260 and higher who have completed 5th job enhancement can talk to Maple admin to immediately complete the 6th job advancement. Dude, imagine if the... I don't know, who was around when 5th job came out? Do you guys remember how much work it was to get 5th job? For people who don't remember, so it kind of similar is now in the beginning, where you could talk to an NPC, you talk to your job advanced tutor, they send you to the 3 goddesses. So for one, you had to kill any version of Magnus. And then go back and get your rock. For the other one, you just talk to the NPC, and then for the other one, you have to find the portal somewhere in the top 3 maps of Dark World Tree. Go through the portal, and then get your rock, and then you have to double-click your rock, and you have to start. You start charging the rock, which took 8 hours of. No. 6 hours. Which took 6 hours, and for those 6 hours, you have to be online for it to charge. Now, you could kill monsters in the meantime, and then the EXP would go into the rock. But once the rock was full, it was full, and you just had to continue waiting your 6 hours. Or it was 2 hours. Oh yeah, 2 hours to charge, and then 6 hours in between, making it 6 to... No, it was 22 hours in total. I remember that. I believe it was... It must have been 6 hours per rock and then 2 hours in between or something like that. 2 hours, 8? Oh, that was also 22. Oh yeah, so 2 hours per rock. Yeah, and then 8 hours. Yeah, you're right. See, this is how long it was. Even my memory's fuzzy on it. So 2 hours to charge the rock. You had to be online for those 2 hours. And then you had to wait 8 hours until you can start charging the next rock. For that 8 hours, you could be AFK, but you had to wait 8 more hours. So then you could do the second rock, 2 hours, and you wait another 8 hours, and then you could do the third rock for 2 hours, and then you could get your 5th job. So there was a 22-hour waiting buffer. So I don't know how they're going to do this one. Again, you typically don't want to... The problem was, though, the new areas, they didn't want everyone storming the new areas and the beginning areas being completely destroyed. So I think in order to mitigate that this time, because they put the 6th job at 260 that a lot of people have already passed, just because people just barely get 6th job, it doesn't mean that there's going to be one area that's now totally overrun with all the new 6th job people, but everyone's going to stay in the same areas where they already are and pretty spread out throughout the game. So I don't think it'll be necessary to have any kind of buffer like that, just like they did for 5th job. And so I'm hoping they don't do any crazy, time buffer like that, but I don't know what you guys think about that. In terms of the skills, along with this, they will be given the skill cores and mastery cores for their class. At the maximum level of 30. Skill cores. So skill cores is for the origin skills, and then mastery cores is for the empowering of the 1st through 4th job. So no enhancement cores yet for the 5th job from the looks of it. In terms of skills numerical values, they will be adjusted once in the next test world when the enhancement cores and stat cores are added. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so enhancement cores and stat cores are in the next one. They will continue to be changed up until the update is released on the official server, which is in 3 weeks, I believe. Around 3 weeks. A little bit less. Next, we'll talk about our intentions for newly added origin skills and mastery cores. First of all, okay, this is a long. Is this a lot? Oh, okay. Make combat more varied, especially in boss fights when you're fighting together with party members. Origin skills have a separate party cooldown, requiring you to make strategic decisions about when, who, and how to use them. All origin skills. Rock, paper, scissors, baby. Rock, paper, scissors. Shoot! On shoot, okay. All origin skills have a built-in absolute bind feature that can bind enemies that resist regular binds, and has a separate resistance time from existing binding skills. Yeah, we saw the icon. It's like a little bit more purple, and it's got like a line down the middle kind of thing. It's slightly different than the regular bind. And slightly different than the... Actually, it looked more similar to the zero, to the... shoot, what's it called? The reactive bind? No, what's the thing called that zeros do, where they sometimes like bind a target? That's technically has cooldown, but it got like its own cooldown thing. It looks a bit more similar to that. Critical bind, that's the one, thank you. Finally, you can bind Princess No, yeah. And Zaku, but he'll probably die. Might be able to bind Gollux, but maybe not. Probably not. But by that time, you should probably be blowing up Gollux anyway, right? Separate resistance from existing binds. How players utilize this feature will make a big difference in the outcome of battles. Lastly, we have the relatively long 300-second second skill usage cycle. Their basic combat performance and cutscenes were designed to be different from existing skills and to give a newfound sense of excitement when using them. Definitely. Jamusin YouTube. That's what it is. Thank you for the prime, dude. Welcome to Scotters, Grace, Ranks, and Bad Wolf, and thank you for supporting the channel. Took a while to link my Twitch. Never on here. Thought I'd throw a sub for the fun interaction. Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Welcome to the stream. Next, mastery course. Since all existing 4th job and lower skills were only numerically enhanced in the 5th job enhancement, they provided the same combat experience. Numerically. But they also give the ID, and then sometimes critical rate, one additional target, right? But that was minimal, of course. But it wasn't technically only numerically. I've read the same combat experience for a very long time. Yeah. So with these mastery cores, we try to raise the overall combat experience to a higher level by changing these skills, which are used all the time, but have not had any visual or performance changes in a while, which I think is a good idea. Yeah. On the other hand, while making changes to the combat experience with mastery cores, we avoided drastically changing any existing combat patterns as much as possible, because you want to maintain the feel and the vibe of the class, especially if you're making these changes after level 260. If people like a certain character, they like it enough to get to 260, they don't want the class to completely change in how they need to be played at level 260, because that's not the character they signed up for, right? So you want to make it exciting, you want to make it look good, you want to give it more utility, but you don't want to change the personality or the character of the class. So that is, tricky, but it's a fun challenge, I think. We're careful when selecting enhancement skills and updating order. Is that where I was? Yeah. To make sure there were no major changes in the way that existing skills are used. As a result of adding cores one by one, there may be some empirical variation between classes. However, that's always going to be the case, right? Like, back in the day as well, when everyone got their first V skill, Cannoneer was considered like one of the top characters in the entire game. And then they had to nerf that skill a lot when they started adding skills, because with that skill and the other stuff, it was really difficult to keep to keep it balanced, because due to temp unavailability. Okay. Well, I'll let the other guy handle that. Looks like Lara's bossing is going to be absorption now. I think it would be good if there's just if you could do any combination of explosion and absorption and it will all kind of like work. That would be good, I think. Where was I? Yeah. However, we designed the value so that the difference in performance between classes due to mastery cores doesn't get too big during the update process, and we'll continue to make additional adjustments to reduce this variance after more cores are added. Mastery cores are designed to have 4 cores in total, so we will provide a combat experience that is gradually being completed over the course of future updates. Mastery cores are designed to have 4 cores in total. So 4 mastery cores that will enhance or give you mastery, I guess, over all of the 1st through 4th job skills for every character. So there's no longer the variance of like, you know, some class having, what was it, some class having like 7 boost nodes and then some class having, well, it was 23 but now 16. So that the variance is too wildly different. So probably way more clustering of skills is what it were. I guess we can imply from, or infer from that. Finally, given the significant changes to combat in this update, we expect that it will take a considerable amount of time and discussion for players to learn, get used to, and gather meaningful statistics with new battle pattern. Yeah, a lot of people are going to think like, oh, this is shit, this is really good. But then when you actually use it in a bunch of different scenarios, I don't know if I like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, what, 7, 8, 9, 10. Why is there so much room here? 10th job when? Is it 6, 7, 8, 9? I think it's room for 10 almost, right? Yeah. Interesting. I wonder if they're planning on 10 jobs. The ultimate 10th job. Dual blades have intermediate. Oh yeah. Does Evan still have them? And then Beast Tamer just has like 1 tab. We will actively be listening to feedback and carefully checking statistics to do our best to give players the level of combat experience they expect. Alright, currently Hexa Matrix is not available. Nope, we saw some pictures right during the showcase, but it's not available in the game. So you can see not clickable here. Meturiksu. Nice. Easy to read in Korean. Hypo. You simply receive max level origin skills and mastery skills upon job advancing, so we don't know anything about the process of acquiring and leveling skills. We know about those items, right? There's going to be shards and there's going to be full-on items that drop that'll probably function very similarly to nodes, but we don't know how common they will be and how many of them you will need to level stuff up, all that shit, right? They also have not added the enhancement cores, increasing damage of their 5th job skills or Hexa stats. Yeah, that's also still coming. If it's just increasing damage on the 5th job skills, then that's, you know, that's one thing. But like final damage increase on your 5th jobs, you know, you can already imagine how bursty some classes are. Giving final damage to your 5th job skills, it's gonna be, I don't know. If people are like kind of disappointed by how the arc skills look now, but then, you know, if they're if your beast suddenly starts doing double or triple your damage, yeah, that's still going to be massive. The common cores were stated to not be included upon the initial release of the 6th job advancement. To not be included upon the initial release of the 6th job advancement. Oh, common cores. Okay, so no like Urda type skills, at least for the foreseeable future, for 6th job. Origin skills are the big and flashy new skills every class gets. They have a few special features when compared to existing skills. 6-minute cooldown, shared party 1-minute cooldown. So if somebody uses one in your party, you cannot use one unless 1 minute has passed since the last person has used one. So 6-minute cooldown, and 6 people, you'll just use one, and then everyone uses theirs. Hang on. If you do big brain math, wouldn't the sixth person... Oh, yeah, no, the sixth person would be you, yeah. No, I was trying to big brain it, and then I small brain it. Smooth versus Rigi. This means that one person used their origin skill, another party member can use it for 60 seconds after that. That's what I just said, Max. Every origin skill inflicts absolute bind on enemies for 10 seconds. Absolute bind can affect all enemies, even those that cannot be bound normally. It does not share a bind cooldown with regular binds, but if it is used on an enemy that is already normally bound, it will override it. The absolute bind cooldown is 10 seconds after being bound. Yeah. Mastery skills upgrade existing 4th job and lower level skills to improve their effects, damage, and functionality. Every class will eventually have a total of 4 mastery cores, but they will be added gradually. Okay, and then we have some videos. Okay, this is just the standard info. So I guess we can kind of see the numbers here. You can see how the effect looks a lot cooler. It's such a weird sword hilt thing as well. So the icon for the skill, looking pretty sexy. It's looking pretty cool. Grab sword. And then a few lines of damage, and then you see that bind. Wait, could we see the bind? No, we can't see the bar of the target. Am I the only one who thinks that the blast animation is kind of eh? Like it's a little... I don't know. I feel like they could have gone like a different direction with that. He's just oranger? Yeah, and he's got like a cross behind him. No, this skill is fucking badass though. Yeah, and there's like lightning and shit coming down on every attack. Okay, I don't know why that part was included. Okay. That looks pretty good. HP 110. 3000 HP. Okay, that looks just a little bit cooler. Okay. Oh, girl animation. That's it? No effect after that? Okay. There's the guy animation. Yeah, we just had this one. Well, the fire poison one looked really cool. The skill looks like it will do a lot more. More impressive. But 6th job looked really cool. Oh, effect disappears when moving to a map. Ah, that's what they were showing. Gotcha. Ooh, wait, hang on. I want to see this one again. This one is so cool, dude. You got the poison snake, you got the fire ifrit, and then they just bam. The 1 meteor strike, like, yay! Oh, and you stay stuck to 10 stacks? Oh, that's kind of nice. We need more of the snack, yeah. More snacks in the game. Chain lightning empowerment. Whoa. That is very different. Like extra ice and extra lightning. Effect stays when you leave the map. It's will. Oh no. Bishop. Wow, that. Okay. A little bit bigger wings and stuff. 6 will attract a lot more new players. I think so. It's just an extra layer on top of stuff. What the hell? This skill is also pretty cool. You go out and they just like resummon on the other map. Bam. Oh, you can replace where the summons are. Oh. Or they'll just reappear where you are after a while. Wait, how long do they last? No, 60 seconds? No, 15 targets for 80% damage. 6 times. And then at the end, hit them 6 times, 4,500%, something like that. And 10 monsters. I think it might be 60 seconds. Holy Advent. Bow Master. Yeah, the main attack looked very different. We saw that in a showcase. And then the big old thousands of arrows coming down. Some people were a little bit disappointed with that one. The main attack hit effect is very similar, but the actual attack itself on your character looks very different. But it seems like you're adding extra... Oh no, you're already adding those arrows. Shift 250. Oh, you get... Wait, you get 250 arrows? Whoa. Like every once in a while you'll get extra arrows? By the looks of it? This one has a lot of arrows. And then periodically fires more? Oh, nice. Build stacks? Oh, okay, so similar to the Arc one, right? Jeez. And pop them to empower your... Okay, gotcha. Marksman... It was a 480% to 545? 535 to 605? Okay. Okay. That's a pretty big snipe effect. Damn. I hope they don't have the thing again where the hitbox was like very far away from the target. So like if a monster was standing here, that you just like shot past it with your skill. Because now it almost looks like the arrow is coming from here, but it should be coming from there, right? Bro. That's looking pretty nuts. This is gonna be a lot of lines, right? Hang on, I missed the lines. How crazy was it? Just to see. It's probably gonna be, if I'm guessing, it's probably gonna be like not crazy amount of lines, just like Marksman always is, but the individual lines are just gonna be really high. What's up, Presentant? Okay. I hope they don't change too much in terms of like critical rate and stuff like that if they give that, because it's always gonna be attacking skills, right? So they kind of avoid messing with the base stats. Ooh. Oh, some extra after image arrows. Ooh. That's looking pretty nice. What up, Ben? How you doing? Oh, animation time. Extra explosions. What is the flag score for the guild? You can see the rankings. If you look on the bottom left side, you can see rankings for that everyone's gotten. You can check last week. Usually the amount of people who get like 1k is a handful or less. But like you need 10,000 and we have 200 members. So you know technically if you get 100 and half the people run, then we're capped, right? But we don't get half the people running, but the people who do run typically get way more than, on average, get quite a bit more than 100. Wow, this crazy phantom. Okay, there's an extra little shuriken charm that gets thrown. Okay, a little bit of damage. And then some giant ass Beyblades that are just flying through the map. Jeez. Interesting. I'm not dropping any frames, Widowmaker, so maybe see if you can refresh. Maybe lower the quality a bit. Oh. Yeah, this animation looks really cool. What do you mean for the 6 job? This one is nice too. It's not too different from the original one. Well, I guess it's, yeah. Oh, I see. Interesting. Is the range bigger? Is that the normal range for assassinate? Yeah. So building some stacks. Yeah. Big old lines of damage. I guess they wanted to showcase the skills as cleanly as possible, but some of the skills can only be hit on an actual target. 231,000% damage. That seems like an insane amount, but... Wait a minute. Some interesting stuff there, but what was this skill? What is this? What is he using here? Is this like Blade Storm or something? This is a skill we don't use, right? Or is this the enhancement? Does it allow you to like hurricane out the skill instead? Instead of just having individual hits. Where it's almost like a hurricane skill because it's so fast. Just because of changing the animation makes it look like a... Not a hurricane, it just looks like... Okay, gotcha. And other skills can like trigger part of it by the looks of it. Alright, more shiny stuff. Oh. Ayo. Never even know this skill was supposed to be this color. Okay. Okay. Oof. Showing once more that the game is truly unplayable with skills visible. Yeah, this definitely looks more... You know, they just dialed it up to a 13, you know, in terms of all of the skills and stuff. So you're gonna power it even more for more lines? What a one typically for quests, yeah. Jeez. It's just an insane full map. Destroy everything. Summon. Alright, show me the lines. 780 to... Wait, 780 to 1420? Is that what that said? To 1240. Okay, that's still a lot though. God, there's so much visually going on with Cannoneer. You can see the lines already in the background. It's like don't. Oh wait, did you not have the toggle on? I've seen like way more lines on that skill before. Okay, that skill looks a lot cooler. Okay. This is all looking pretty cool. 4200%. Oh. Okay. That's the more single target bossing mode of it, yeah. Oh. Yes. Bam. Looking good. Bigger animation equals new job. Pretty much. Uh-huh. The one that a lot of people love, right? The Dawn Warrior, that's the... Pushing today, going over all the 6 job stuff. Zap, zap. Alternating. Oof, damn. The fucking whole Milky Way's got something to say about that one. Classes that use the same skill for mobbing and bossing will really benefit a lot from the changes. Well, they gave the mastery course to... For some classes, they only gave them to like 1 or 2 skills, and then for others to like 4 or 5, right? There might be, yeah. They said in the beginning, like there might be like lopsided buffs, or at least feeling like it's lopsided early on. Okay, you have that actual fire element. Just stays in the map, just does a whole bunch of damage. More Cheetos. Can never go wrong with more Cheetos. That's the Blaze Wizard mantra. This empowerment, I think, looks pretty damn cool compared to the old one. Like, the old one is pretty nice, but the... There's like vibrating, it's like... It's just, it's so many arrows. Okay, that's more arrows. That's very Wind Archer of them. Okay, alright. Now, what are we doing? I mean, like Iron bigger hitbox with help mobbing, I guess. Yeah. Oh, they get a fan. For those warm summer mornings. Video is this? Oh, it's just the one linked in the Orangemushroom video. I can, I'll add it to !KMS for now. You guys can follow along if you want to. Jeez. It's Morbin time. Ooh. Bruh. I thought this was finally the opportunity for Night Lords and Nightwalker to get a little bit further away from each other. Dude, these things are just like fucking bouncing around. Oh god, why is it so strong? Damn. Alright, Thunderbreaker was a really cool one. Even more DPM for Nightwalker? Looks like it, yeah. It's a slightly bigger explosion, I guess. Ta-da! Shark bait, ooh ha ha. Damage, 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 damage. Nice. Stay tuned for part 2. Or something like that. First video contains Adventures, Night Sickness, and the second video contains the hero's Resistance, Nova, Zero, Kinesis, Flora, Anima. There are timestamps in the description of everyone. 34 minutes! Okay, Aaron, big ol' hitbox. Oh. If you thought 5th job skills had a lot of text in the description, get ready for 6th job. Because it's 20% more job, 20% more skill description. Oh, it's a 2-headed bird. Ooh. They changed all the animals just a little bit. Ooh, and a wolf, giant Fenrir. Yeah, what the fuck, Aaron? Low-key OP. Look at that shit. Look at that combo build. 6, 7, 8, 9. Ooh. Maha! Evan, okay, this picture makes it look like you're about to poop your pants, but instead, I think this skill has the potential to do some crazy damage, right? 5,000, 40% damage. Okay, this already looks quite a bit more strong. Okay. Dragon boy. 'Cause I'm a dragon boy. Uh-oh. Bam. And then... Oof. A lot of extra damage. That just comes in from everywhere, just hitting everything. Just rains down. Okay, so the effect in the background? Huh. Three? From 2 to 3 lines? No, it's not 2 lines. Wait. It's like 12 lines. There's over map to map from the looks of it. Yeah, they try to show when it does. Ooh. Jeez. Oh, the amount of targets hit, probably. That's it. The 2 to 3. Oh, here's the Mr. Summon dude. That looks balanced. Wait, but you summon him first and then you get the skill effect? Oh. Hmm. Oh, another hurricane that needs to be made a lot cooler. Innovation is crazy on the Luminous, yeah. Oh. Alright, that definitely looks like more of a... Get absolutely destroyed. I don't know if I like the effect covering the character completely. For the other one, they made it so that the effect would go around the character, so you could still see your class. Oh, we've got some debuffs stacking on the target. With some extra damage. Ooh, pretty big numbers. Hello? Oh yeah, the deer is probably gonna stomp the shit out of it. Yeah. Spam. Oh. Holy shit. Oh, that's the effect whenever the... Oh, and does replace to where you are? Or, I guess they're replacing it. Jesus. Serendir, yeah. Big ol' strong tornado. Flashy teleport thing. Woo! Yeah, it immediately starts a big tornado, I think, from what I heard, right? Yeah, immediately. You don't have a charge up again for a small tornado into a big tornado. So it hits way more. Ooh. It's hard to tell from those numbers. Oh, damn. I think they have to give most of these skills like a nice after effect when you're mobbing, because otherwise you just won't really use them for mobbing because it's just a waste of time, right? Similar to Evan? Yeah. Yeah. Similar to Evan, similar to Mihail, similar to Paladin? No, not Mihail. Paladin? And there was another one I think that had it. That's a way bigger punch. Damn. Oh. Man. I wonder why they didn't think of this. Like, you have such a cool animation. And, okay, spacebar is for play. Thank you. And it's like, wow, look at this cool animation in the middle of the map, guys. Wow, look at this bird that just showed up. Look at this thing. Oh, never mind. It's completely covered in numbers from the thing I'm hitting. Maybe put the damage numbers like behind or make them transparent or something. Like, what bird kicked up? Yeah, like, this is just like the animation for 5th and for 6th job, and then like covering it with a V-matrix screen, right? Like, if you're putting so much work in making this animation look so cool, then why are you hiding it behind the damage numbers? Like, it's just all kind of going to waste. Oh. Jesus. Yo, this shade scale looks really... This looks messy, bro. Look at that. Ooh. Sell the solution. That's the Fox God. Unfortunately, you can see her. Rip. Make the enemy stun for half a second and then apply all the damage right after the animation. Yeah, so if it's going to be stunned for 10 seconds anyway, just apply the damage not immediately, but like after the initial animation. Yo, is Blaster going to do some absolutely crazy stuff? Is he going to be able to showcase it properly? Black classes train from Explorers. The best classes to train from Explorer and Cygnus bracket. What do you mean by best? You want all of them. If you're looking for progress for your account, check !links or !legion. That has all of the buffs for all of the characters there. I really like the Blaster one. It's just so over the top. I can't help but appreciate it. Fun and easiest. Those are pretty subjective terms. If you're looking for like a simple Explorer or a Cygnus. Thunderbreaker is pretty simple. You just have 2 buttons, you just alternate them, and you just zoom through the map and destroy everything. Like no ski. Yeah, I'll probably do Thunderbreaker. Ooh. I like that animation. Ooh. That's a way darker Reaper right there. And for Explorer, I mean, what is a Dawn Warrior is pretty simple too. Jeez, that's massive. I wonder if you need to build stacks to activate this. Oh, you need to build stacks to activate the 6th probably. Jeez. That damage kind of just like keeps going. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, how many lines is that? Uh-oh. Here we go. And covered with numbers again. I guess that's why it had to be full screen effect, so that there's still some visibility of what the effect is around all the numbers that you're dealing. For Explorer. Simple. Where are all of these? Pirates. Probably Ice Lightning Mage or something? It's very simple. When the G application says strong enough for normal Lucid, is that the solo or strong enough to do Struggle Party? Struggle Party start. Wouldn't expect you to be solo ready at level 230. That's a little... that's a little extreme. Is this more range as well? It seems like further away than you would usually hit it, right? Okay, well those stacks build pretty quickly. So every 50 you get like an empowerment. Wow. Wait, and were they able to build the second 50 stacks again before it ran out? Oh yeah, easily. Like if you keep attacking that every 5 seconds, you only need half the time to keep it empowered. Damn. Can I link this video? Just check !KMS. I've got the link to the thing I'm looking at. It's the videos after the first information on there. Wait, so how many extra? 233, so 1/6 of the attacks extra. 16% more attacks. That's pretty big. When is next DMT? Probably not for a while. Oh, sorry. We have every other Saturday, right? So this Saturday is going to be like for one item type. I don't remember exactly which one though. At events. Events, reply to this man. Oh. Thank you, Stream Elements. Okay. Oh. It becomes pink and blue instead of green and orange. Or purpley, I guess. Fuzzy lob mouse. Mm-hmm. Purple equals upgrade, yeah. Well, that ship definitely is upgraded. Has some extra lasers on it. Oh. Looking kinda cute. Not gonna lie. Just do a flip. What? It just does drive-by bombings now? Oh, that vertical hitbox looked a lot bigger on that skill too. Oh, here it is. Gundam. Gundam mode. Engage. What the fuck? Holy shit. Yo, this is sick. And he's missing. He missed Omega Lol. He used it. He missed his laser. The dummy's like, who's the dummy now? That would have looked really cool if you actually hit the thing, but he bricked the burst. Hard bricked it, yeah. They stole Jet's ship? Yeah, a little bit. He was predicting the jump. Yeah, he was like, I'm gonna stay on the ground. I remember when flash jump and teleport were the pinnacle of movement. Oh, dude, yeah. Characters without flash jump, rush skill, or any kind of teleport or anything like that. Just, they used, sometimes we used the mounts. Oh, wow. That is quite different looking. The missile that gets put on the edge here is so huge. It's like, it's like, oh, I'm just gonna shoot a bullet. This guy is like, we need like an enforcement piece on here, otherwise our cannon is just gonna blow up. And then once it hits, it's like, and this thing when it's hit, it's like, oh, boom. You got like extra shotguns on the side. These effects look really cool. Whoever worked on these had a fun time. I'll walk there, a warrior. Yeah, so we used to sometimes use mounts. Yeah, this one is, I think, not so much for bossing, but more of a mobbing one. But it is continuous, though. I don't know. For some of the other areas, it's like every time you attack. Let's just see how long that lasts. Well, we'll see the detail. We'll read the details after this. Oh, Demon Avenger? No, Demon Slayer. Slayer first. Was the man said mounts? Yeah, yeah. We kill like 2 monsters, jump on our mount, walk half a map until we found the next monster, like get off our mount, kill the monster, go back on our mount. That was actually the warrior strat for a while. Because the maps were so big and there were only like 8 monsters on it. Oh. Oh, he's got his wings. It's Morbid time again. Ooh. Chairs for healing, yeah. My mom used to save a lot of money when she was playing Maple. She would just... she would play until she ran out of mana. And then she would sit on a chair, AFK, do some housework. Damn. And then come back once her MP was regenerated. And then go kill a little bit more. Do another event. That first one was Demon Impact, yeah. But this one is like the empowered... What the... Plus 500 plus 180 out of 180? Because this skill costs like, what, 600 to activate or some dumb shit? Damn, okay. Is this underground sitting on top of the shed to regen? Yeah, there was always like 6 people on a chair there regenerating. Alright, DA, show me what you've got. Show me those beautiful new shields. Empowered Revenant. Oh, dude, it is 3! Instead of 2. Based. Wait. Is that just with cooldown skip or what? Or can you build charges for it? Wait, was that the skill sound effect? I don't think it was. Phantom's looking for the 38, my dude. Year number 4, Soonch. Oh. The Desperado. Yeah, and then you can fire it again, right? So it does damage over time, and you can explode it. New skill sound, Boku. 360 to 620. 5,040% to 7. Who dressed up this character? Is he got fucking Zakum cape? Is this okay? Is this like the... Is this a character from Tekken or something? It's an auxiliary. It's an Octopus Heihachi. Oh wait, it's the guy from One Piece, right? Oh my god, dude. That's some epic shit right there. Okay, prepare for the edgiest class. 451% to 900. It's Poison Needle, almost doubling in damage. More than doubling. Damn. Yo, Kane might be getting some fucking buffs, dude. Heihachi Mishima? Oh, that's the guy. Ah, okay. Let's see. I don't play those games, so I don't know. Ooh. That's looking cute. That dragon is looking slightly more pissed off. I mean... Let's be real, he's just summoning Godzilla now. Like, actually. Like, this is kind of like a dragon form. But this is just actual Godzilla, who's just, like, pulling out of the ground, right? Look at that shit. He went full Gojira. Oh. Ooh. That's a lot of hits. Just keeps going. Like in the movies. Oh, edgy eyes. Brrr. Ooh, passive stacks. And extra. Oh my god. Godzilla just comes from the... Is it just in the air, just raining down hellfire on everything you hit? Bro, look at look at the top of the map here. It's like for every hit of every skill, they're like. That's a lot of extra hits. Edgy. Damn. Alright. Cadena, show us. Show us the sexiness. New main Kane. Kane new main. 10% to 15%? It's mainly the on-hit effects. Like explosion in the background. Animation on the character stayed pretty similar. Oh. Some oh. Oh, shield? Nani? Shielded it? Damn. So many explosions. All of the explosions. Ooh. Wait, it's a toggle? Hmm. Okay. Okay. Oh. Oh. Ah. Ooh. Okay, so instead of the 3 dragons attacking at the same time, you just got one of the 3. Kind of like the different attack patterns for Adele. Bubble bubble. Holy shit. Summon more of the balls. Bubble bubble. Okay, 0-1 is looking pretty cute, right? I think a lot of people like the look of the 0 skill. Also, 0 gets like 16 mastery cores immediately. Or it gets 1 mastery core, but like with a gazillion skills in it. Ooh. Skill icon is pretty... We just need the lightning to actually do some damage. A nice little crash down. That looks pretty good. Bam. And before that hasn't changed at all since what it is now. Ooh, extra lightning. Aha! It is doing some damage by the looks of it. Oh, and little time bubbles floating around. Hmm. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Bam! Oh, that's a good looking one. Link to the video. Yeah, it's around under exclamation mark KMS, so we're looking at that right now. Oh yeah, honestly, that kinesis animation looked really cool too. What is that? Is that a hashtag? Hashtag die please. You know, it would be cool if you get like a YouTuber skin for Kinesis, and then what the things he slams down, instead of being those shapes, it's just like a like, a comment, and a subscribe button that you just like slam on top of it. Slam on top of them. Oh my god, this thing, dude. Bam. That's a pretty cool animation. He just pulls that from a different dimension, just bam. Oh, and that pauses the big ball as well, where the big thingy where it is, so you can optimize the damage on that thing as well. Adeli. Wow, Cleave got bigger? So what you're saying is Cleave just went back to what it was in KMS Tespia before it, like, right before Adele came out, is what you're saying. Jesus, that's a big sword. That's like a ruin-shaped sword. Or a size sword. What the fuck is that? Regular old Cleave. And now, bam. Oh, that's one of the effects. Holy shit. These effects look so much more badass, though. Sanbon Sakura. Kageyoshi. Damn. Wait, no damage numbers? Did this guy have invisible damage skin? Oh. I guess so. Wait, is that a male Adele? Cringe, bro. Male Adele kind of cringe. Saobang Po, thank you for the follow. And Douglas. Douglas GG, thank you for the follow as well. Ooh. Yo, Mihal is so sleeper. Mihal. Fucking Ilya is so sleeper OP. So sleeper that I can fuse it for Mihal. Mihal also, by the way, but. Show me that big old crap. Ooh. Bam. Show me what that big old crystal do. Character is so smug. Extra little empowered hit every now and then. Ooh. Nice. Right, now for the pièce de résistance. Oh, look how the damage is to the side now, because he moved a little bit. Yeah, all of those crystals. Bam, just zapping everything. I wonder if it's map positioning related or screen positioning related. Ah, I didn't show. Should have stayed, but not whether it follows you through the map or not. Balls of my face. Alright, we don't know much about the Kali. Yeah, I mean, we don't have any experience with the Kali just yet. So this is all gonna look very new. Ah, that's more swipey. More curious about the Hwoyang DPS burst setup changes from the just spamming Earth and Cudgel off cooldown, the newest 6 job or not. Whoa! Whoa! Chibus! Okay. Okay. Was it a male Kali? That's also kind of cringe, honestly. Ark, show me what's up. Water shot maybe stretched too. Oh yeah, I got some water. True. Hang on, let me look at these percentages a little bit. 100%. Wait, is this going from 100% damage to 980? Wait, hang on. Surely. Wait, in this skill instead of 50%, 595%? Okay. And then 6 to 7. That's either targets? Probably targets. 80% to 565%? Okay, 90 to 355. 205% to 645%. And 200% to 370. Huh. And this one, 340 to 550. And 410 to 660. And a little bit of extra percent damage. Boss damage probably, right? 35 boss instead of 30. 70% to 115% of what? Oh, 115 on the bullet. Gotcha. 30, 35. Okay, spooky. Spooky skill. Giant totem thing. Mm-hmm. Okay. Ooh. Dash looking a bit more aggressive. He's gonna show it all in animation cancel as well, or no? Bam. Yes you are, Kuro. Bigger hand is better. Huge hand. So being in Flora builds stacks, and then being in Spectra consumes the stacks for extra damage. What it looks like. And then when you use Spell Bullets, it gives you 30 stacks. Open up the door to actual hell. Jigoku this. And then continuous hands just coming out of the ground, crushing everything. Okay. This seems perfectly reasonable for mobbing. Okay. Just, you know, wherever you go, everything is just getting grabbed from underground. That looks pretty cool. I think they said it lasts 30 seconds or something. That's pretty nuts. And you don't even have to be attacking anything for it to trigger. It just automatically just triggers and just destroys everything for a while. Everywhere you walk, Satan hands. Yep. You may have seen jazz hands, but you have not seen Satan hands just yet. Okay. Spirit Sprinkle is sprinkling a little bit harder. Bam! Whoa! That is a lot of lines. Hang on. Can we see it again for a hot second? Wait, what happened to the damage here? Look at these lines. Ooh, that's a lot. Can I get a link? Exclamation mark KMS. I'm looking at the videos in the middle of the posts right now. Or you could just click the link that was in the chat before. There you go. Empowered cudgel. Oh, they're messing with the system. Oh. Oh yeah, the big ol' yeah. The current 5th job skill with the big gods just smacking. Holy moly! Okay. That is looking very flashy. Sheesh. Just for like 9,000% per line though. Sounds good. Oh. That's the old cudgel, right? Show me new cudgel. Show me. Bang. Wait. Is that more hits too? No. Oof. What the hell? Oh. Some extra element thing. Oh. Interesting. Salam. Oh, and then extra skill on top of it. Gotcha. Please no more buttons on my Ho-Young burst. You're a Ho-Young. You should love buttons. Oh, yeah. Just give me a giant fucking... Yeah, just summon Shangri-La. Summon the entire map. Alright, so we probably still have some other skills other than that, but you know, because of the classes, the other classes, right? But yeah, so that's all the ones we have so far. There's some cool ones there. Young Sangul Yogi Sobodani Okay, what does that mean? So to see this video here, yeah.
이 영상을 여기서 보다니 재밌네요.
It is. Now, let's look at the details. So we saw the empowerment for the hero. The final attack will apply a critical hit. When the combo is fully charged, the skill will be enhanced, which is, you know, after a single second of attacking. 2 final attacks will be critical hits. 590, 534 times 8 enemies. Skill core, Spirit Caliber. 12 strike of each, 3,240% damage 14 times on up to 15 enemies. Paladin. This is 485, 10 times up to 4 enemies. Divine Judgment, 6. 30-second duration. When the brand is stacked 5 times, it will explode, dealing 890% damage 10 times on one enemy with an additional 20% defense ignored. And Sacred Bastion. You're invincible. Activate 7 shockwaves, each deal 2,100, 7 times up to 15 enemies. Then 5 shockwaves, each deal 2,760% damage 12 times. Create a holy area for 30 seconds. Judgment of Light will attack enemies. Then the area dealing 1,200% damage 6 times and up to 5 enemies. Enemies hit by the Judgment of Light will stack the Divine Brand. Okay. Dark Knight, 390, 12 times, 4 enemies. When attacking, damage is increased by a value equal to 120 of your maximum HP. Oh, 120% probably. And ignores 40% defense. Ignores 40% defense ignore. Well, I hope that it doesn't, because that would be decreasing your damage. Don't ignore my defense ignore. Give me defense ignore. Or ignore my defense. Dead Space. 2 strikes that each deal 3,000% damage 6 times on up to 15 enemies. Then unleash dark energy 10 times that each deal 4,800% damage 14 times on up to 15 enemies. Add more numbers, more hits, more times, more triggers. Did your first normal lucid clear? Grats, Dunsky. Did the dragon get you, or did you get the dragon? Is look for wood the same as chop wood in Threads of Fate? Is there's a look for wood? It should be chop wood or herbs, whatever it is with herbs. Find herbs, harvest herbs. I didn't know there was a look for wood. That might not be the same then. Gather herbs. Oh, there you go. Close enough. Flame sweep 6. Yeah, that one looked pretty cool. 355, 7 times, 8 enemies. When sweep hits an enemy 2 times, the next flame sweep will activate a giant flame. Bam. Nice, nice. When giant flame hits an enemy, it will be inflicted with an ember for 30 seconds. If mist eruption hits an enemy with the ember, it will activate an explosion, deals 375% 8 times. Enemies hit by a flame sweep. Any flame sweeps flames will be burned for 5 seconds, taking 435 damage every second. 435%, sorry. Okay. Infernal Venom. Hell yeah. For 20 seconds, Fervent Drain's limit is increased to 10 stacks. We saw that. So it also means that the extra summon that you can use, right, will stay twice as long. Which is basically the only burst that Fire Poison has. So this will not only give it a bunch of burst, but also make that skill do more damage for 20 seconds. What's the cooldown on that? Does that mean you can use that once, or you can use it twice within that 20 seconds? I think only once, right? I think that's a 30-second cooldown? Maybe that guy with the 6-second had cooldown. Playing away Lara, any tips? I mean, have fun. Activate a lot of veins, blow things up. And make sure you play with skill sounds on, so you wanna hear her moan all the time. That is definitely not distracting. Liberated Incarnations of Fire and Poison activates 6 explosions that each deals 7,200% damage 8 times and up to 15 enemies. Due to Incarnation's magic, Fusing activates 8 powerful magic explosions that each deal 5,400% damage 12 times. Yeah. So where Fire Poison didn't really have any burst before, this skill is definitely hitting hard now. And empowering the other burst skill that they have to kind of take them away from being only DPM and giving them a big burst skill. Ice Lightning, that extra attack looked pretty gnarly. 3 of 5, 10 times, 7 enemies, 100% chance to stun for 5 seconds with additional 30% critical rate. When the attack hits an enemy, there's a 35% chance to create an electric current at their location. Every 7 seconds, there's a 100% chance to create an electric current. For 4 seconds, 140% damage 2 times and up to 6 enemies. An electric current can attack up to 4 times. When it reaches its limit, it will disappear. Up to 4 electric currents can be created on the map. Okay, Frozen Lightning. Your invisible activates 10 strikes with the fusion of ice and lightning magic. Each deal 20% damage 5 times. And activate 4 strikes that deal 4,200 8 times. After fusion magic attacks, create 22 ice fragments that deal 1,200% damage 3 times. And after music ends, due to the ice and lightning magic in the air, for 30 seconds when you attack an enemy, activate an additional attack that deals 1,800% damage 5 times. Additional attack reactivation cooldown is 2 seconds. Damn. 46. Oh, they were like 58 before. Angel Ray 6. Deals 355 damage 14 times up to 4 enemies and heals parties in HP, including yourself for 10% max HP. When the Holy Sword hits an enemy 12 times, the Angel of Judgment will appear and attack enemies. Does 580% damage 10 times up to 15 enemies when Angel Ray 6. And the Angel of Judgment hit an enemy, they will apply a debuff for 20 seconds and increases allies' final damage by 2%. The debuff can stack up to 5 times and the final damage boost stacks additively. Okay. Seems good. Holy Advent. Activate 6 strikes, each deals 1680 6 times and up to 15 enemies. Then 5 strikes deal 4,500% 10 times. For 60 seconds, increase final damage by 5% and manifest the Archangels of Balance, Vengeance, and Compassion. The Archangels attack up to 12 enemies, resummon cooldown 3 seconds. Balance is 900% 8 times every 3 seconds. Vengeance 1800% 4 times every 4 seconds, and Angel of Compassion 1500 every 4 seconds. 4 times every 5 seconds. Bowmaster looked interesting. 585% per arrow. Attack as an enemy acquires 1 special arrowhead up to 250. When you have acquired 200 special arrowheads, you can change to shooting mode. Regular Hurricane is not shooting? Okay. 425%. Damage 6 times on up to 6 enemies. When the attack hits an enemy, consumes 1 special arrowhead. Bro, so you go from 585 single line, single target to 425 6 lines, 6 targets. And every shot consumes an arrowhead, so you have that. So basically 50% of the time, right? When grinding, should you go into portals? For low levels, it's good for EXP. For high levels, it can be good for EXP, but you want to worry if you're in a popular map, and other people might take your map when you're in a portal, so you have to weigh that that risk. It's 3 lines is a tooltip error? Okay, because that would be kind of nuts, and I don't remember it being that much of a wall, now that you mention it. Okay, it could be 3 then. Which is still, you know, huge power move while you're bursting, I guess. So you save 200, alternate 200 a little bit when you're just doing DPM mode, and then if you're gonna go burst mode in a little bit, if burst is soon, you stack up to 250, switch out, and then just LH4. If you like train there for a bit and you don't see anyone else coming into your map at all, and it's not really a popular map, then you can just do all the portals and you'll be fine. But it's like at your own risk. I'm not taking responsibility for you losing your map because you went into a portal. Usually empty but 0 burning. Oh, gotcha. Unfortunate. Shoot so many arrows that the sky is covered in shadows. Every few seconds, a shower of arrows strike enemies. This one looked pretty cool. Activate 6 arrow showers that each deal 3,600% damage 12 times with 15 enemies. After the last arrow shower for 30 seconds, every 3 seconds when your attacks hit an enemy, activate an arrow shower that deals 1500% damage 9 times with 15 enemies. Okay. Marksman sniping, 545% 9 times. Enhanced sniping consumes 140, deals 605 10 times. When a skill hits an enemy with a mark, activate an additional attack that deals 380% damage 5 times. Enhanced arrows prepared for the second sniping used, and 2 more special ultimate arrows. Okay. For the 4th sniping use. Ultimate sniping fires 2 arrows that each deal 315% damage 10 times. When this skill hits an enemy with a mark, activate an additional attack that deals 380% damage 5 times. Sniping, enhanced sniping probably, and ultimate sniping have an additional 40% defense ignore and 100% critical rate. Alrighty then. Skill core final aim. Activate 8 shockwaves that each deal 4,500% damage and 4 times and up to 15 5 enemies. Afterwards, shoot 5 arrows that each deal 9,900% damage 11 times and up to 1/5 enemies. That's the biggest number we've seen so far. And it's 11 times. That's a decent amount. Honestly, the shade changes looked like it was gonna smack, honestly. But I guess we'll have to see the numbers. Pathfinder. 990% damage 5 times up to 8 enemies when the arrow exploded. Yeah, we got a bunch of extra explosions, right? Use Cardinal Deluge when the relic is in Blast Emblem. There's a 50% chance to create 3 magic arrows. The created magic arrows will target enemies for 2 seconds, then explode in 333 times, up to 4 enemies. When the same enemy is attacked multiple times a second and later explosions, final damage will be decreased by 30%. Every 20 seconds, when the magic arrow hits magic arrows hit an enemy, creates 16 cursed arrows, 180% damage probably, 4 times up to 4 enemies. Forsaken Relic. 5 shockwave that each deal 3,600% damage 8 times up to 15 enemies. Then activate 5 explosions, deal 5,400% damage 12 times up to 15 enemies. For 30 seconds, liberate the relic. Ancient enchant, force skills. Final damage is increased by 15%. When you use a cardinal force skill that is different than the previous one, there is a 100% chance to create 1 magic arrow that deals 1,080% damage 3 times up to 4 enemies. Every few seconds, the Ancient Rage activates. Ancient Rage activates 3 explosions that each deals 1,200% damage 8 times and up to 10 enemies with a reactivation cooldown of 10 seconds. I don't know what that is, Honey Raptor. Night Lord. Quadruple throw 6. Oh, not quintuple throw? When a skill hits it, not 6-tuple throw? I mean, come on, 6 job. When a skill hits an enemy 3 times, the next attack will activate enhanced quadruple throw 6, yeah, which is 990% damage 4 times on up to 6 enemies. Mobbing skill. The percentages are pretty insane. Yeah, they also increased the damage cap, right, from 150 bill per line to 700, so there's no chance right now. Well, they knew immediately that people will start capping on those skills, but they want to limit how much those skills can do and not have, like, sky's the limit, because then, you know, you could throw it at a really, really strong person and it'll be near impossible to control that damage. Excuse me. Arbiter of Life and Death. Forces 8 strikes, each deals 20% damage 7 times up to 15 enemies for 60 seconds. Create 5 giant stars that follow a random path, dealing 2,700% damage 3 times on up to 1 enemies. Level 249 the BAM now. Ooh, early grats. Is Noah here? He was earlier. I don't know if he's doing something else. Shadower. We saw that extra effect. Looking pretty sick. 395 damage 6 times. Press the skill key again to cast a finishing blow that deals 690% damage 6 times. If the murderous intent buff is consumed, the finishing blow's final damage is increased by 50%. Every 10 seconds, the skill is enhanced to Pulverize 6. Pulverize 6. Attack an enemy's vitals more precisely to inflict tremendous damage. 480% damage 6 times. Press the skill key again to cast a finishing blow. 1170% damage 6 times. When used, activates Dark Side for 3 seconds with a reactivation cooldown of 10 seconds. When you use Veil of Shadows, charge 2 uses. When you use Smokescreen, charge 3 uses. When you are inside Smokescreen for 1 second, charge 1 use. You can charge up to 10 uses. Wow. 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 Owen Wilson is impressed. And so is Eddie Wally. Wow. Resolute Strike activates 5 strikes that each deal 3,000% damage on up to 15 enemies. Damage times? Oh, I forgot how many times that is here. I'm gonna guess it's probably like 8 or 9 or 10 times, something like that. Then activates 5 strikes that each deal 3,000 damage 5 times. Then 8 final strikes that each deal 4,800% damage 7 times. You know, just lots of translation. Big numbers go brr. Many big number. Double-Blade Phantom, blow 6, deal 530% damage 6 times up to 4 enemies, 40% defense ignore. Okay, Karma Blade, you are... When the God of Karma descends, activates 3 strikes, each deal 2,400% damage 4 times up to 15 enemies, then 5 strikes, each deal 3,600 7 times. When attacks an enemy, consume 1 Karma Imbued Blade. To activate an additional attack that deals 1,200% damage 5 times up to 3 enemies, you can use up to 50 Karma Imbued Blades. Okie dokie. If you use all of the Karma Imbued Blades, the God of Karma will manifest and activate 5 strikes that each deals 6,600% damage 7 times up to 15 enemies. Whoo! Damn. Notice it doesn't say how many mobs the enhanced skills hit sometimes. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of numbers. Some of them are maybe missing in the description? I don't know. Fist and Rage 6. Oh, fighting skill. I thought it said fisting skill. Good thing. Okay. For an 80% damage 4 times and up to 4 enemies. Wait, 4 times? So we usually do 8 lines. Serpent Assault and Rage hits an enemy. You can use Super Fist and Rage for 10 seconds, which is 620% damage 5 times up to 3 enemies. Then activates a shockwave that deals another 620% damage 10 times and up to 3 enemies. Okay. Any frame of reference for how long it'll take to get skills to 30? No, none whatsoever. Liberate Neptunus. Awaken the original sea serpent Neptunus, activating 3 shockwaves that each deal 3000% damage 6 times up to one enemy. Okay. Then activate the sea's rage 7 times that each deal 4500% damage 8 times. For 30 seconds, when you use fighting skills and fetch up skills, activate Neptunus and rage. 6-second reactivation cooldown. Okay. First hit 2800 8 times. 2880 9 times, 2880 9 times, 2880 14 times. Okay. I don't want you to be able to read the damage. You need to see massive numbers. Yeah, and then want like a damage skin or something like that for money to be able to actually see what you're doing. It doesn't specify that it's the same amount of mobs as the original skill. That's also maybe a good idea. When the clip is fully charged, it changes to shooting mode. Just like with the Bowmaster. 555 per bullet. Hits an enemy 5 times, charge 1 clip. When you have charged 10 clips, you will change to shooting mode. During this skill, your speed is fixed at 120. Consumes 19 MP per attack, 1 clip per second. Deals 270% damage 4 times and up to 6 enemies continuously. So you get to double your damage for 10 seconds. It's called a magazine. Good one. Under the command of the fierce captain, blah blah blah, giant dreadnought skill. The brave advance activates 7 storms that each deal 4500% 10 times on everything in the map. As your attack ends, the ship will be installed in the air for 15 seconds, and every few seconds it will activate a bombardment and deals shit ton of damage like you saw and just destroys the map.
Crap before you whap, peepo poo poo.
Peepo poo poo, crap before you whap, indeed. Thank you very much, Richard. Thanks for the 14, bro. Appreciate that, Param. Cannon shooter, aka Cannoneer. Consumes 85 MP, deals 1240% damage 4 times and up to 8 enemies. Additional 20% crit rate and 30% defense ignored. Nobody cares about this. But the base damage now I think was something like 700 or almost 800 or something, so it's a decent increase. Super Cannon Explosion. You know, why try to come up with new stuff when you could just throw in a superlative or a hyperlative? No, comparative, whatever. Just throw big numbers in there. Big letters, big words in there, and big numbers by the looks of it. Activate 8 bombardments that each deal 14,400% damage 4 times and up to 15 enemies. Afterwards, activate 4 big explosions that each deal 18,000 damage 5 times and up to 15 enemies. Yeah, so again, huge numbers, but you always want to be multiplying the percentage with the amount of times you hit. And also really big numbers means that you're going to be capping on damage on that sooner than anyone else. So you're going to run out of potential upgrading for that skill first. Now, you know, most of us will never reach that point, but endgame people will actually reach that point if you multiply anything by 18, you know, by 180, I guess, right? So, but yeah, there's more to come. Who knows? Mihail, Shining Cross. Yeah, so we saw that augmented attack, looking pretty sexy. 974 times up to 8 enemies. 30% chance to apply darkness. And then Assault Version 595. 10 times. And up to 12 enemies. Wait. Wait. Wasn't there usually like a mode that hits like 8 monsters and the one that hit like 2 or 3? Now there's one that hits 4. The one that hits 8 monsters and one that hits 12. But the one that hits... hits 12 also hits more, no? This is like barely 4,000. This is almost 6,000% damage. Hey, why would you ever use this one? Is the attack speed different or the hitbox different? The equivalent of enrage cuts a mobs hit by 3? Well, yeah, but that's this mode. It might be just 2 enemies or something. But even then, if it cuts the mobs hit by 3, then it goes to 9, then you're still... then this one is still better. Something, yeah, something doesn't add up here with the numbers, but this one is supposed to hit harder, but then on fewer enemies than this one. This one hits a little weaker, but then hits more targets. Durandal. Destroy evil with the sword of light that can never be dulled. Ooh. 2 strikes, each deal 4,500% damage 7 times. Afterwards, the light energy erupts, activating 9 shockwave that each deal 2760 damage 4 times. So 36 times whatever this is. So it's like 100. Is that like 100,000 damage? Something like that. To compare it to this guy. This guy did 90,000, but did 4 times, so that's 360%. So 360,000% damage. Finally activates 4 final strike that each deal 4,200% damage 12 times. Nice. That's another, what is that, 200,000 damage? Soul Master, aka Dawn Warrior. 836 times 8 enemies. 836 times 8 enemies. Cool new animations. Activates 14 strikes that each deal 4,800% damage 3 times. Activate to activate 5 primal explosions that each deal 7,200% damage 6 times and up to 15 enemies. Boom. So that's also another 210,000% extra damage. And this is 5k. So it's like 90k. And this is 210k. So this is like 300,000% damage or something. Roughly. That makes sense why they have 6-minute cooldown. Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, they had that in mind. Blaze Wizards, 440, 2 times up to 8 enemies. When attacking normal monsters, and more damage. Every 15 seconds, activates 4 blazes that deal 230%, 4 times up to 6 enemies. Enhanced. 675, 2 times up to 8 enemies. Flame Fox. Orbital Flame. 760, 2 times up to 8 enemies. When a skill hits an enemy, decreases their elemental resistance by 10% for 20 seconds. When a skill hits an enemy 10 times, activate the Fox's Mischief debuff for 20 seconds. Every 15 seconds, activates 4 blazes that deal 230% damage 4 times under 6 enemies. When a skill is used 3 times, the next attack will activate Enhanced Orbital Flame 6, which is 945% damage 2 times and up to 8 enemies. Jeez. A lot of stuff happening with just one skill. Eternity. Activate 7 flames that each deals 6,600% damage 10 times and up to 15 enemies. That's a lot. That's 70 times 6.6. So that's 462,000 damage. That's almost half a million percent damage. For 30 seconds, every few seconds, activate a circle of flame that deals 2,400% damage 12 times and up to 15 enemies. Purely in numbers, this one looks pretty strong. I guess, I mean, they need, let's be honest, they could use one. Song of Heaven here, 750% damage per arrow and up to 4 enemies. Mistral Spring. I thought it said Menstrual Spring for a second. That's not. When energy in the Emerald activates 9 blades of wind that each deal 2,400% damage 10 times on up to 15 enemies. Okay. So that's what 90x 2.4, 183, 216,000% damage after the attack ends. For 20 seconds, the missile spring will create spirit energy to attack enemies. Create 13 wind energy that deals 900% damage. Each create 5 excited wind energies that deal 2,400% damage, and create 3 fierce wind energies that deal 1,800% damage. Well, we saw that, right? Like there's like the little thing in a stays in a map and just sends out a bunch of different arrows. Night Walker. 5 stars, deals 360% damage 4 times and 40% damage 1 time. Every 8 seconds the skill is enhanced. And then deals 360 4 times. And then 1010% damage 7 times on up to 8 enemies. Okay. Skill core, Silence. Activates 8 strikes that each deals 6,000% damage 8 times. Yeah, so that's 64 times 6,000. So that's 384,000% damage. For 30 seconds, when you activate your attacks hit an enemy, the shadow bats will form into 3 giant shadow stars. Yep, we saw that. And they deal 2,100 3 times. When the shadow star hits an enemy, it can bounce up to 5 times, and it takes 4 seconds for them to recreate. Whew. Yeah, this looked like a spooky skill. Striker, Thunderbreaker. 477 times up to 3 enemies. They will get the lightning brand for 90 seconds. And when they are hit by your other directly attacking skills, activate a strike that is 190% damage 3 times. And then the skill, 11 shockwaves that each deal 1,920% damage 4 times on up to 15 enemies. So 44x this, which is something like, I don't know, like 80,000. 80,000% damage. Then 14 shockwaves that each deal 3,240% damage 7 times. Which, that is like basically that's over 300,000% damage. Okay. So this is, yeah, like 380,000% damage, something like that. Yeah, I don't know. For your class, I don't know what you guys are thinking. Would you want a skill that just does a whole bunch of damage that's just guaranteed? Or do you want an empowerment and then just, you know, does damage over time? Like, one would be good for the bossing if you can commit your damage, and good for the mobbing. The other one would be shit for the mobbing, but maybe way better for bossing, you know, together with like an Oz ring or something like that. I wonder if they're going to try to enhance the empowerments of most skills. To be like, okay, your effect, what you do as a class is more DPM heavy, so we're just going to give you another DPM class to empower that. Versus, oh, actually, you know, you're way too DPM heavy. Kind of like with the fire poison, right? You're way too DPM heavy, so we're going to give you a really big burst skill instead that empowers the little burst that you have to kind of compensate for that. Because I want characters to not just be only burst and I can do anything, or I can DPM but I have 0 burst. But I also don't want every class to do the same thing. Exactly, you know. You want the fat mobbing skill? Spear belt doesn't exist. I got 2 of them on my marksman recently, but yeah, I haven't run in a bit. You guys all prepping for Shining, right? Shining Star Force coming soon. Get those Helix runs in, get those backups, get those coins. You want better mobbing on the Aaron? Well, dude, I like the animations though for the Aaron. They look really cool. Intuitive bird. Tiger. Okay, this one's a little jank, let's be honest. 522% damage 5 times 7 enemies. Afterwards you can hold the skill key to use up to the third attack. Wait, you can hold that? Hold the skill key? Can you do that now? Did I get trolled, Kyle? You can now. Oh, I guess I haven't. Wait, was that since recently? Because I was always spamming that button. Is that since Savior or what? Oh, it's since okay. Taking it 545 times, 30 to 50, 555 5 times, additional 100% crit rate, 30 IED, 8% damage when attacking normal monsters. When used by linking with final blow, damage is increased by 35% points. Every 4 seconds, Maha will appear doing 375, 4 times on 3 enemies in adrenaline boost. Maha's attack cooldown is decreased to 2 seconds. I don't need to auto attack. Yeah, the swing studies or whatever it's called, right? Adrenaline surge. Oh shit! I thought it was gonna say adrenaline purge. I guess both could have worked. First hit 1200 10 times on 10 enemies. Then another 1200 10 10, 1200 12 10, and 1200 14 10. While an adrenaline surge activates a wave that deals 900% damage 10 times on up to 8 enemies. If you reuse the skill, awakened adrenaline will end and activates 7 final strikes that each deals 7000% damage 12 times on up to 15 enemies. Um, 84 times 6000? That's a lot of damage. $68 lines total. Wait, how do you get to 68? 7 times 12, no? That's 84? Wait, how do you get to 68? Hang on. Yeah, 60 times 6,000, so that's 480 and 36, so 516,000 damage. So that's over 500,000%. Yeah, the buck, yeah. But if you get all the hits, right? Yeah. Yeah, this seems like this is gonna be some crazy damage. This one too though. 4 times up to 8 enemies, 525, 595. Cool new effect. Zodiac Bursts activates 5 strikes that each deal 5,040% damage 15 times on up to 15 enemies. Okay, just starting off with a crispy clean 375,000 damage. Then for 60 seconds, when a fusion skill hits an enemy, activates 9 meteor showers that each deal 1200% damage 6 times. Okay, but they will be in different spots in the map, so they won't necessarily stack and all hit the target. Meteor shower reactivation cooldown of 3 seconds. So it's possible, let's say 20 showers, because you're bursting for like the whole minute. And let's say a third of them hit the target because of the map and everything. So that's 18x 1200. So let's say 20k. 20,000. 20 times, so another 400,000. So you're looking at like 750,000% damage or something. If crude number crunching. Pretty sick. Luminous must record. Dude, the animation on this thing is absolutely crazy. Pale enemy, fall up to 3 enemies. 740% damage 7 times up to 3 enemies. Only 1 shockwave will be activated when a single enemy is hit by a sword. Additional 100% crit rate and 45% defense ignore. Dude, 45% on just 1 skill. Harmonic Paradox. Summon a harmonious entity that has reached the truth of light and darkness. Singularity. Harmonious entity uses condensed light and dark magic for a certain period of time to baptize the enemy. Then it releases both elements as power to realize the power of truth. Oh my god, that's so edgy. The power of realize the power of truth. Oh, what you're saying is he took the red pill. Because with 3,000 MP, yeah, summoning. While the key is held, summon the harmonious entity that deals 3,300% damage 5 times and up to 15 enemies. When the key down ends, the harmonious entity's power is released, activating 10 explosions that each deal 4,860% damage 7 times up to 15 enemies. Alright, so there's like a 340,000% damage. What's that? Did he? Did you just kill the 2 statues before they were even spawned? You just roar and use the skill, and and they're dead. Nice. Soloing, baby. Normalize 1 bursting solo at level 260. Wait. Hang on. Is he level 260? I fucking can't see. Why can't I, like... Can I zoom in? It's like impossible to fucking see. Can I open in a new window? I'd be surprised if it was like 288 or something. Or it might be 268, yeah. I think it's 268. Dude, that would be pretty disgusting. 260 something? Okay, then it looks like that was 268. That's kind of nasty. Mercedes nuts. Ishtar's brand. Yeah, we saw that. That one looked pretty cool, especially combined with the unfading glory. 525, 2 times up to 4 enemies. If you attack hits an enemy, Ignis Roar's duration is increased by 0.1 second. When you attack hits an enemy, inflict Ishtar brand for 90 seconds. When you're directly attacking skills an enemy 6 times, it is filled by 1. Then Ishar's ring 6 or your Kala's breath hits an enemy 24 times, it's filled by 1. Okay, so you can't really build it super duper fast. Every time the brand is filled, activate an additional attack that deals 520% damage 3 times. When the brand is complete, activate an additional attack that deals 740% damage 8 times. That's decently big. And then Unfitting Glory. Release the creatures, activating 9 strikes that each deal 3,600% damage 9 times. So 81 times 3.6. 244. Plus 1/5 of that. So like almost 300,000% damage. Like 290,000% damage or something. Afterwards, summon the Spirit of Power in the form of Spirit King for 60 seconds. Resummon cooldown 3 seconds. Spirit King deals 2,520% damage 6 times and up to 12 enemies. If Ishar's brand is completed, the next attack will activate an enhanced attack with Ishar's power, which is 4,200% damage 8 times. So that skill alone is going to hit for like 33,000% damage instead of the standard... What, 6k or something? 6,000%. Slightly stronger. Reactivation cooldown of 2 seconds. Damn. Will Phantom forever be a meme? I think it's a cool class, but still. The problem is they can steal a lot of final damage buffs from other classes and stack all of those together. So they just have to be super careful in balancing this class. Otherwise, it could get out of hand really quickly. But I think overall they probably deserve some more stuff. Again, the balancing is for Korea, non-reboot, right? That's what balance is happening for. So if we're in GMS reboot, whatever the class plays as, that's almost never the intended balance for the class. That's just whatever ends up trickling down on little old us. 780% damage 4 times up to 8 enemies continuously for up to 3 seconds. 18-second cooldown. The skill will always be a critical hit and you can move while using it. Your speed is fixed during the skill. Defying Fate. Defying Fate activates 2 strikes that each deal 10,800% damage 15 times. Went up to 15 enemies. Alright, so that's a little bit more than 300,000% damage. 300 and what? 24,000% damage. For 60 seconds, activates the Hero's Will every few seconds. That deals 1,200 damage 4 times and up to 15 enemies. Why does it say few seconds? I mean, for some they say it's 2, it's 3, it's 4. What is a few seconds? You know? Just give us the number. But Shade. Okay, the Shade changes looked pretty cool, I must say. Unworld. 540% damage 12 times and up to 4 enemies. Advent of the Protector God. Oh boy. Alright. Activates 8 awakenings that each deal 19-20% damage 12 times. So that's almost 200,000% damage. For 40 seconds, increases final damage by 10% and enhances your martial arts. Protector God Chain Claw. 1300% damage, 8, 10, 1300, 8, 10, 1350, 12, 10. When attacking, there is a 60% chance to create one that deals 340% damage up to 4 times with the Fox Orbs. Okay. And then Fox God's Manifestation deals 2070% damage 13 times on up to 15 enemies. Creates 6 additional Fox Spirit Orbs. Reactivation cooldown of 6 seconds. So that could happen 7 times. So that creates 42 extra of these, which do like 1000% damage. That's an extra 42,000 as well. Okay. There might be a bug with the new Origin skill Enhanced Claw where you can't cancel out of it with Backstep. Well, I hope that all of that stuff comes forward during the testing and that they, you know, before it actually hits the live server, they get all of those kinks worked out. That's going to be busy times for the devs over there. Adding all of the 6 stuff and making it all work properly in game. You made a mistake. Hayato Origin skill isn't shown. Clearly a bug and needs to be fixed. Well, I hope they're on it. They're probably on it right now, huh? 985% damage, 3 times up to 7 enemies when using Magnum Punch 6. Revolving Cannon will be activated automatically for an additional attack that deals 60% damage 4 times on the same number of enemies. 60%? Wait, is it still 6 job? This has to be a typo. 60%? It's not 6,000. There's got to be a few numbers missing here. Let's see. Double Fang 6 deals 35% damage 4 times with 7 enemies when using Double Fang 6. What kind of okay, we know that part. And then Final Destroyer sounds pretty cool. Activate 9 heat waves that each deal 4,560% damage 5 times up to 15 enemies. So 45x 4560 is, well, 50 times 50 would be a quarter of a million, so it's not that much. But it's probably like 200 something thousand, around 200,000%. Afterwards, activate 6 explosion deals 6.6 damage 10 times. Oh-ho. And that's like close to 400,000. So the whole thing is probably doing near 600,000% damage. Battle Mage. Yo, these skills are pretty cool, man. If you defeat 6 enemies, when the next attack hits an enemy, the Reaper will appear and deal 930% damage 12 times. When you attack a boss monster 2 times, it will be treated as defeating 1 enemy. When Death defeats 4 enemies or attacks a boss monster, collect 1 soul. When the Reaper's Scythe defeats 12 enemies or attacks a boss monster 3 times, collect 1 soul. When you have 4 souls and Death activates, the Reaper's power will be enhanced, dealing 1,475% damage 14 times on up to 12 enemies. After the Reaper's attack activates, it cannot reactivate for 4 seconds. Well, you're going to be rebuilding those stacks anyway. Interesting. 601,200 to be precise. I think my maths were pretty close then. Crimson Pactum. Liberate the Reaper's full power, activating 13 strikes that each deals 6,000% damage 7 times. Bruh. Was it 91 times 6,000? So like 546,000 damage. After contract is complete, the Reaper's true appearance is revealed, activating 5 strikes that each deal 12,600% damage 13 times. This is like way over a million, right? 546 plus, holy shit, 650,000 and a fifth, that's 130,000. So that's 780,000. And then, fuck, 1/20th of that. I don't know, but this is like 1.3 mil. Oh, 1.36. 1,365,000% damage. Yeah, this one looked like it hit pretty hard. Bem needs nerfs again. Well, they did just recently get like a lot of nerfs, so And then a little bit, like in Savior, right? And then a little bit of a buff for solo, but a little bit of nerf to the mobbing, to the supporting in KMS. Too many zeros. Oops, I've got meso. Yeah, you wrote 1,360,000,000%. That would be OP for sure. The skill is about 11% of their damage in a full rotation. Percentage damage isn't... No, of course not. But it's nice to kind of look at where the differences are. 5 arrows with the speed of a storm. Hell yeah. 530% damage per arrow, 15% boss damage while casting this skill. Your speed is set to 140. Hopefully plus 15% boss damage and not just 15% boss damage, because then you'd be losing. So your speed is set to 140. When you activate another bite, there's a 100% chance to stack wildness for 30 seconds. When you reach 50 stacks, Wild Vulcan's attack interval will be decreased for 10 seconds. Ooh. Consume 600 fire piercing arrows that deal 345% damage 2 times up to 8 enemies. And deals 4. A grenade deals 15% damage 4 times, then explode, deal 14% 6 times up to 10 enemies. Reactivation cooldown of 2 seconds. Nature's Belief. Activate 3 shockwaves that each deal 5,100% damage 18 times, 6 times up to 15 enemies. Then 5 roars that each deal 4,500 damage 14 times. Alright, so we're at 70, so that's like 300k, and this is 18, yeah, 3 times 6. That's like 400k. So this is like 700k damage combined. Whenever you see like big numbers like this, that just puts a huge 11% is still a massive for a one-time use. Yeah, but it's on a full rotation, right? So even if it's a 3-minute rotation, you can only use it every other rotation because of the 6-minute cooldown. So the skill has to it has to do a lot because you just can barely use it, right? Xenon. Yo, this one is actually pretty cool. Good stuff. Every 6 seconds, the skill is enhanced to Festival of Masquerade. What does it do? 40% IED, 540% damage 7 times up to 5 enemies. Activates 3 explosions that each deal 460% damage 7 times up to 5 enemies. Additional 40% IED. Re-enhancement cooldown 6 seconds. Yeah, you just fucking drive, like, bomber run by. Every 6 seconds. This one starts hitting, it has like multi-targeting. This guy just... This is pretty... New jet car. The actual 6th job, yeah, kinda. Custom command on off right mouse click. 570% damage 5 times, 15 enemies every 6 seconds. Wait, is this snipe going to hit 5 enemies? I thought the snipe only hit 1 target now. Or does it already hit more than 1? Maybe 2 or something? But not 5, right? The real jet. I mean, they're kind of like space weapony, yeah. For sure. Empowered 3 explosions that each deal 570% damage 7 times up to 15 enemies, 6-second cooldown. Xenon is jet incarnate. That's why I shifted to Xenon instead. Okay. And then activate 6 strikes that each deal 3,600% damage 7 times on up to 15 enemies. Then enter the evolved mode for 30 seconds. Summon 6 enhanced airframes that attack Xenon's targets, dealing 1,200% damage 3 times with a reactivation cooldown of 1.8 seconds. So they can hit something like... not quite 20 times, but almost. When using Aviation Liberty, the flying speed is increased and you can use certain attacking skills. Oh, that's what they were trying to showcase, yeah. You just go into the air like Ilium. Mechanic. They had some really cool like art for the new skills, I think. This fucking X-ring missile does not fuck around. Look at this thing. 745% damage 4 times up to 8 enemies. Big ass rocket, 650% damage 6 times up to 8 enemies. Second explosion deals 270% damage 3 times up to 7 enemies still. Nice. Ground 0. Alright, activate 3 earthquakes that each deals 6,660% damage 6 times. 18. What's the quick maths on that? Wait, that's not that much, right? It's like a little bit over 100,000 or something. 110,000% damage. It's the second part that does it, right? Then 6 explosions that each deal 13,200% damage 10 times. Okay, well, there's the rest of your damage. That's almost 800,000% damage. Alright. Okay. So in total, it's like 800. In total, it's like 900,000% damage, roughly. Massive bombing, 30-second duration. Every few seconds, activate a bombing that deals 5,400% damage 4 times up to 15 enemies. That looked like it was hitting very often. I was gonna say that's like every 2 seconds. So that's like 16 times. 16 times 4, 64. Times 5,400, so that's another 340,000 or something. So this skill is also looking like 1.25 million% damage, something like that. See, it didn't look that crazy on the showcase, but if you look at the numbers now, it looks like 1.25 million% damage. So this skill will probably do quite a bit of your DPM. It stabs you, then explodes. Yeah, just adding insult to injury. This little with the I like the skill effect. I mean, it's so weird, but like it fits. Demon Impact 6, 850% damage 6 times up to 5 enemies, additional 100% crit rate, 40 IED, and 45% boss damage. Enemies hit are slowed for 3 seconds. Wait, it doesn't have a slow now, right? Oh my god, they got a slow too. Every 15 seconds, the skill is enhanced. Then it deals 1300% damage 6 times up to 10 enemies. When a skill hits an enemy, recover 50 force. Enemies will have their defense decreased by 15% and their attack and accuracy decreased by 20. It already has a slow? Oh, I don't remember that. And 20% attack and accuracy for 60 seconds. And this enhances every 15 seconds. Okay. Demon Chain's debuff does not stack with Devil Cry. Oh, okay. And can only the one with the higher values will be applied. Okay, that makes sense. Additional 100% crit rate, 40 ID, 45 boss. Yeah. The Slayer King of Defense Shred. Yeah, no, it's not going to stack with Devil Cry, which is, you know. Yeah, otherwise that'd be pretty nasty. I mean, you still wouldn't be the king, right? You still have zeros, paladins, bishops, Mercedes. Like, these all do more ID debuff, yeah. It'd be nuts if it's stacked though, that'd be cool. And then Nightmare. 5 shockwaves that deal 3, 4, 20% damage 4 times. So that's like, you know, what, 70,000, yeah, something like 70,000% damage. But then the real thing is Demon's Domain, 20-second duration. The maximum force limit is increased by 500. When you use directly attacking skills, activate Flames of the Underworld that deal 2,520% damage 3 times with 3 enemies. Reactivation cooldown of 0.3 seconds. When the Flames of the Underworld are activated, recover 5 additional force. When you use a skill again, it will instantly end and activate the Judgment of the Underworld 9 times, each dealing 4,260% damage 7 times on up to 15 enemies. So that's a 63... 250, 260, 260,000% damage or something. For every 10 force acquired that exceeds the maximum force limit, every 10, the Judgment of the Underworld's final damage is increased by 1%. Okay, but you could go up by 500. So you could do an extra 50% final damage on that, making it closer to 400,000% damage. You're invincible during Judgment of the Underworld's cast action. Okay, well, if you look at the total percentages, this skill is... This seems not... Well, this might rack up a lot, though. These flames every 0.3 seconds. So that can activate, like, up to... maxing up to, like, 60 times. Which is 180 times... 2,500 times 4 divide by 10 kind of thing. 720. That could be 720,000 damage. No. No, 180. Wait, why am I mathing so wrong? If it's 180 times 2 is 360,000, and then half is another 90. So it's like 450,000 damage. 450,000% damage, yeah. Still adding it up to the other one, 400k, and the initial hit, like 70k. Yeah, never mind, it's still big. It's still like a total of like 800,000% damage. Demon Avenger. Mastery Core. This doesn't look like any skill we have. It's so weird, right? It's like half of a... half of an execution, a little bit of a lunar slash on the bottom, 2-dimensional swords coming down, and then a weird new shield being summoned like all at once. Throw shields that chase enemies. After hitting the targeted enemy, the shield will bounce to nearby enemies. So no nearby enemies. Consumes 8% max HP. Throw 3 shields that deal 840% damage 2 times. Each shield can attack... Am I logged into my dude right now? 2 times. Each shield can attack up to 8 times. If this skill hits a single target repeatedly, there is a 30% final damage reduction. Ooh. Ooh. Cooldown of 6 seconds. Yup. Yup. 510. The same amount of hits, right? Up to 8 hits? 510 to 840. Ooh, I'll take that. It's more than 50% final damage increase. Yeah, yeah. And then, but increase with the hyper, I think, right? Two extra times or something, up to 10 times. Skill core, Requiem. Ooh la la. Brrr, activates 10 strikes that each deals 6,240% damage 8 times. That's a big upfront hit. That's pretty much 500,000% damage. Little less, 8. No, 8 times, that's 2. And minus 20. Yeah, that's 500,000% damage. Then summon the True Soul's Demon Sword. True Soul's Demon Sword, 15-second duration. Every few seconds deals 3,120% damage 12 times? 36,000 damage every few seconds. Okay. And then after it is summoned for 4 seconds, you can use the skill again to activate 6 Demon Sword Words, each dealing 9,000% damage 14 times on up to 15 enemies. Jesus. 80... Wait, 6 times 14 is 84 times 9,000. That's 720, 36, 756,000 damage. So this is going to be like order of magnitude of the battle mage probably, because you have 500k, then I don't know, probably something like 5 or 6 activations here, so like almost 200k, so like 700k, and then another. Well, how much was this again? 750k, so like 1.4. I think you'll get upwards of like 1.4 million or something. Damn. Maybe for every single class of 260 to be able to hard lose its soul. Probably. I mean, yeah, that you just save use your 5th job skill once in P1, once in P2, and then you just nuke P3 with it. Man, imagine needing to like time buffs and everything for P3 for Lucid. The hardest part is going to be you just pop this skill, you get down to bar 1, and then you just have to keep damaging and damage to heal in the last bar in the last like 30 seconds instead. Door, please? I got you. Good luck. Alright, that's a pretty big percentage skill. Kaiser! 620% damage 9 times out of 3 enemies. Final figuration 620% 11 times of 3 enemies. Okay. Might of Nova. That looked like it did a lot of damage on the second second hit. 4 strikes, 540%, 50-40, sorry. 5 times, so that's like 100,000% damage. And then 8 final strikes each deals 7,020% damage 10 times. Alright, that's a bit more. That's 560,000% damage. So it's like 660,000% damage. Yeah, that's kind of bad. Only, guys, this skill is only 660,000% damage. Are they even trying to give them a skill that does damage? Come on, bro. But there was some people were saying that there was something about like transforming into a different different transformation or something. Shit skill, yeah. I also witnessed this for BM solo in New Age. How's that? Is it the? That's the dark. Yeah, we already watched that one. Yeah. It seems very balanced. Why it is in the description that it pops final form for them? Yeah, because that is really good value. Again, once we have the live server, everything, and the not just the test server stuff, but like the real stuff, the full details, or we shall see all the. We should see if there's anything added or any kind of buffs fixed to it, bugs fixed with it. You know, it doesn't pop final form. Oh, then that's probably why it doesn't say. Yeah. Kane. Ooh, these skills looking. Kane skills looking kind of spooky, dude. Godzilla summon over here. Oh yeah. Oh, he's got wings though. Godzilla with wings. Bro, is that the next Godzilla movie where Godzilla just has wings and then flies around while laser beaming everyone? Fire shock 5 downwards, 910% damage 8 times. Prepare one for like this every count of seconds. Can hold up to 2 cartridges. Falling dust, 30% damage 10 times with 12 enemies. Afterwards, the malice erupts, dealing 755 damage 15 times. Execute poison needle 6. Huh. 10% damage 8 times with 6 enemies after that, performing a consecutive attack with 550% damage 8 times up to 6 enemies. Enemies hit by the consecutive attack will be inflicted with DOT, dealing 620% damage every second for 12 seconds. Then, when the consecutive attack ends, activate a final strike that deals 460% damage 10 times up to 6 enemies with a cooldown of 15 seconds. Okay. Okay. And then Annihilation. Oh, not a bad name. 6 strikes, each deal 2,400% damage 13 times. That's always pretty big. So that's like 70, almost 80. So that's like 160,000% damage or something. Malice domain for 30 seconds. Death Blessing's damage is increased to 550%, and every few seconds grant the blessing of death to up to 10 nearby enemies. I was gonna say, hopefully, maybe that buffing for the death blessing on the teammates finally goes up, but no, I guess not. Ignore the Star Force. I'm waiting for Shining, but 15 cubes from Epic. Two-second cooldown, 9 luck. Wait, what are you aiming for? Fuck it, bro. Oh. I need to back to the music. Hello? Oh. It just started playing. Okay. 2-second in stat. Yeah, that's good value. Congrats, bro. What up, Ansunas? How you doing? 30-second duration. Activate the Demon Dragon's Breath, which deals 1,800% damage 8 times. On up to 3 enemies. Reactivation cooldown of 0.25 seconds. Yeah, we saw that. That was pretty much constant. They're not happy about the cooldown? I mean, you saw the video. It's pretty much all the time. When a Demon Dragon Breath is activated, all execute skills cooldowns are decreased by 1. Wait. Demon Dragon Breath, which deals 1,800% damage 8 times. Reactivated cooldown of 0.25 when the Demon Dragon Breath is activated. All execute skills cooldowns are decreased by 1 second. Wait, so every second your execute skills are decreased in cooldown by 4 seconds, essentially? So you're just... But because of server lag, it fucks up the count. It activates during fail. Okay. But that's more like a server issue rather than that being the timing on it, right? Spam needle. yeah, you could just like spam some execute skills. Yeah, this is mostly, yeah, this doesn't look like, oh, you're gaining 1.5 million% damage skill, but you will be gaining an insane amount of damage from this. But yeah, you would have to dig a little bit deeper and ask some Keens if they can kind of like translate how much this would be. But that looks pretty massive for them. Dinner, 300% damage to 24, 760, 5 times on 8 per second. There's a 100% chance of slow for 5 seconds. Prepare 1 stack every 8 seconds. You can use up to 3. Enhanced second hit. Deals 760%. 5 times with 8 enemies. That activates a shockwave that deals 470% damage 8 times. Skills used immediately after the first hit, other than Chain Art Stroke. There's a stroke skill? Will have their final damage increased by 15%. According to Inven, it's around 800k average. Okay. That seems to be not the best of the skills, but definitely not the worst either. That's about 5,000% damage increase. Source, trust me. Alright. My source is that I made it the fuck up. Hits up to 15 enemies for the massacre. Activates 12 strikes that deal 4,500 4 times. 3 strikes that deal 4.8 thousand 7 times. And 5 explosions at the end that deal 6.6 thousand damage 13 times. Oakley dokily. So, what is that? 50, 200k, 100k, and 400k, roughly. So, like 800,000 damage, roughly, as well. Okay, Angelic Buster. Ba-da-da. 10-20% damage 6 times up to 4 enemies. When Trinity 6 hits an enemy, stack a buff that increases Trinity 6 and Trinity Fusion's damage and defense ignore by 15% up to 2 times. Soul Recharge skill, 100% recharge success rate. Maple Idol concert is held. If we 2 sound waves that each deal 3,000% damage 6 times. And then 5 confetti cannons that each deal 4.2k 14 times. Okay. So it's about 300k. 12. 36k. 300k. At the end of the concert, 25 support balloons will fly up and attack enemies. After the concert ends, for 30 seconds, Soul Seeker will be changed to support balloons. Support balloons 680% damage. When they hit an enemy, they will have the same chance as Soul Seeker to be recreated up to 7 times. Trinity 6 doesn't have bonus Seeker activation chance. Normal Trinity gets 25% on top of base 35%. Oh. Okay, I'll have to look into that. If only Babyface job skills weren't so meh, I'd love the class. Can I transfer items from one character to another? Not on Reboot, no. The only things you can transfer are the things you can put into the storage. So like equips. Equips you can't do, but some items you can. Like scrolls, stamps, mezzo, cubes. You know, there's a lot of items that can go into the storage. But, and the things you can put into Cash Shop, you can also take out with other characters that share Cash Shop inventory, but not equips. You're at C? Oh, C doesn't have a reboot, so you should be able to do it. But you probably use the storage. Look for a storage character somewhere, and you put them in storage. Every big town map should have one. Giga Crush 6 consumes 15%, 400% damage 6 times up to 7 enemies. Combination skill, assist skill. This class is too complicated for my small brain. 610% damage 10 times with 7 enemies. A lot of numbers. Oh yeah, time piece. Let me use the power of time to leave traces of their assists. Whenever an assist hits an enemy 4 times, create 3 time traces. Up to 10 time traces can exist in a map. When the opposite zeros attacks hit a time trace, it will be activated as a time crystal, which deals 720% damage 4 times, with a recreation cooldown of 2 seconds. And then Chrono Trigger. You are invincible. Of course, the mirror break activates 4 strikes that each deal 4.2k damage 4 times and up to 15 enemies. That's just a little bit of the introduction damage of what's to come. So what is that, 56,000% damage. The Transcendence Power Awakening activates 7 time distortions that each deal 3,300% damage 6 times, which is 42. So that's closer to like 130,000% damage. A little bit over. And then afterwards, 5 final strikes that each deal 5,400% damage 12 times, which is over 320,000% damage. Up to 15 enemies. Solid name, pretty solid. Kinesis. 1170. Ultimate Material 6. 1170, 10 times up to 12 enemies. The enemies hit will have their defense decreased by 15% for 30 seconds. Blah 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 blah. Why is this song so loud? To chill out. Drop an object from another world through a rift of warped space to destroy the area around you. Pretty to the point. Consume 1 psychic point. You are invincible during the cast action. Because it still consumes 1 though, so you can't just slam it. Activates 15 explosions that each deal 6,000% damage 12 times and up to 15 enemies. That's really just 1 giant nuke. 15 times 12 was 180 times 6,000 is what is that, 1,080,000, something like that percent damage. Think about Night Lord with the 6 job. It's kind of hard to tell. Should consider changing your main. You should never consider changing your main 6 months or like 3 weeks before the final version isn't even out yet in the server that we're 6 months behind on. I would say keep an eye on this stuff for sure, but at least wait until the live servers for Korea so we know what, because they might change a whole lot of stuff still between now and then. So I would definitely not make any decisions now. You can keep an eye on it, you can look at it, you can kind of look at the discussions, see what they're saying in Korea, see what they're saying in GMS, but I wouldn't make any decisions based on that just yet. Create a giant great sword to cut enemies in front of you. Every few seconds, divide is enhanced. Divide? Is a cleave? Enhanced by receiving the power of ether. 645% damage 6 times 7 enemies. Every 12 seconds, the next attack will be replaced with enhanced divide, which is 3 strikes that each deal 360% 7 times. Except the Burn Blaster. Yes, we'll give you something. Yeah, you. Well, I don't know who it was, but you're welcome, Nutbomb. Don't tell me what to do. That reminds me of there was that there was a wall and someone wrote on the wall "Spread Anarchy" and then someone crossed it out with graffiti and said, "Don't tell me what to do." Hell yeah. Maestro. Command an infinite number of ether swords to sweep across the battlefield. Summon the ether swords. Activates 4 strikes that each deal 6,600% damage 7 times and up to 15 enemies. That's not too crazy, right? 28, 6.6. It's that second blow that probably does all this shit. 20 times 6.6 is it's almost 30, 180, like 175, 180,000, something like that. Probably a little bit more, 185,000. That'd be my guess. Finally, control the ether sword to activate 6 finishing blows. It deals 7,812 times. Ooh, okay, that's a big hit right there. 74 times 7.8, so it's got to be over 500,000. Okay, yeah, that's together. Quite a nice little extra thing. Wild Hunter, I believe so, yes. Ilium. Javelin 6. 535, 3 times up to 5 enemies. Create 2 fragments that deal 200% extra. When the orbs hit a crystal, 2 fragments. When a javelin hits a... Oh yeah. Javelin hits a crystal or an enemy. Acquire 1 crystal fragment. You only acquire 1 crystal fragment for 1 cast of javelin. When you've collected 30 fragments, the next javelin will activate an enchant javelin. Enchant javelin? Not enhanced javelin or something? Okay. Fire 3 javelins at once. If the javelins hit the same enemy, there is a 70% final damage reduction. Ooh. If the fragments activated by the same javelin hit the same enemy, there's a 50% final damage reduction for the second javelin fragment. Gotcha. Glory Wings, Javelin, Shiksu. 945, 675 enemies. 3 magic missiles, 375 3 times. It's an enemy 4 times. Javelin will be enhanced to enchant javelin. 3 javelins at once when the same time. There's 7% and 50%. Again, yeah, same thing. Okay. Okie dokie. Unlimited crystals, or 6. I think I saw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 crystals, right? And then 2 more in the middle. Activate 7 magic explosions, deal 2.7k 4 times with 15 enemies, and 5 explosions that each deal 3,000 to 6 times. So that's like 90k. And that's like fucking... I can't brain math right now, like 60k or something? I don't know. So like 150k, and then 4 magic explosions deal 3.3k 12 times. Okay, I don't know who was so busy making every single amount of hits and every single percentage damage and every single amount of explosions different for every single skill for all of these kits. Like, it's just a bunch of stuff going off. Like, just make numbers appear. You don't have to get this detailed with all where all of the number comes from exactly. Like, it's just unnecessary, but okay. Summon the infinite crystals for 20 seconds. When a reaction is activated with the crystal, the infinite crystal will activate resonance, dealing 60% damage 12 times up to 15 enemies. Resonance reactivation cooldown 1 second. Resonance is activated 3 times. The next resonance will instead create 22 crystalline crystals that each deal 1500% damage. And that creation cooldown is 2 seconds. Okay. Okay, interesting. Kali, 585, 7 times on 8 enemies. Is it like an enemy void rest? Blitz cooldowns are decreased by 1 second. Ooh. Ooh la la. Hold the key down for up to 3 seconds to create a storm of chakrams that deals 80% damage 7 times up to 15 enemies. When the key down ends, activates 3 strikes that each deal 3000% damage 8 times on up to 15 enemies. Afterwards, the sandstorm activates 5 explosions that each deal 4,500% damage 12 times on up to 15 enemies. After the skill is used, increase final damage by 15% for 30 seconds. Okay. Okay. That's pretty... I mean, 15% final damage on all of your shit for 30 seconds after that. Alright, Arc. 980% damage 3 times up to 7 enemies, which is a huge increase. Spell bullets, 2 plane spells, 595. Increase speed and stance, very important still. Push forward after imbuing your body with flame magic. Additionally, leave a wall of flames in your path. If you hit an enemy, charge a scarlet spell. Inspected by the skull. Comes with change a grievous wound. Yeah, we know that. Blah, blah, blah. 65 3 times, 7 enemies, 355 5 times. 30 attack, 20% crit rate, sure thing. Gust drive, 645, 374 times, 12 targets, 1 rank of attack speed, and 25% avoidability. 550, 4 times up to 8 enemies. I wish the cooldown on this one was a little bit lower. Because if you accidentally miss it... Well, I guess, yeah, with the current changes in KMS, you don't really get penalized for not hitting the target right after you... Because now the thing is like, okay, we have to use our hypers to double our buffs, and then we have to use all our buffs to reapply the buff to yourself and to your party members. But then if you use this skill and he just kind of like dives out of it, right after you press it, you have to wait 8 more seconds or 9 more seconds until you can use it again to get the biggest buff for your burst, which is just 9 seconds of your burst fucking gone, which is so annoying. So the fact that you can hit him beforehand, boom, and just activate him, that makes more sense. Oh yeah, there's the extra sword going on. Awakened Abyss. So when you use Infinity Spell, instantly create Abyss energy from the infinite magic. I saw it's something like 30 stacks. A skill linked to plane charge drive hits an enemy, create 1 Abyss energy in Spectral mode. When a changed skill hits an enemy, create Abyss blades on all enemies hit that deals 900% damage 3 times. You can create up to 300 Abyss energy. When you use Infinity Spell, create an additional 30 Abyss energy. Oh yeah, there it is. Consumes 1500 MP, you're invincible, blah, blah. After a few seconds, activate the source's strikes. They each deal 4,500% damage 10 times with enemies for 30 seconds. Every few seconds, activate 5 grasps of the Abyss. They each deal 7,500% damage up to 15 enemies. Yeah, that part of the skill looked really nice. 30 seconds. So imagine they're trying to keep you in Flora for longer, giving you like crazy % damage in Flora, so you can build way more Abyss energy, and then when you're bursting and you're using all of this, and the Abyss energy is triggering on everything, it's only 900% damage 3 times, but if you do that 3 times, then you get 900 times 900, right? Wait, is that 810,000% damage? From just this? This could go decently hard, actually, but we'll have to see. These are like impending death 2.0 almost. We'll see. Lara, Mastery Core, 745 for 745% damage 4 times up to 7 enemies. Damage to the kids. Blooming Flower World. Create 2 flowers that each deal 6,000% damage 7 times up to 15 enemies. Afterwards, the flowers bloom and erupt the Earth's energy 10 times, each dealing 9,000% damage 14 times. So 140 times 9,000% damage. Which is a crispy clean 1.26 million % damage. After the initial hit of 74,000 damage. For a grand total of what is it? 1,334,000% damage or something. It looked like it would smack. That last one, dude. 10 hits of 14 hits, 9,000% per line. That's kind of nasty. If you thought Lara was already bursty. Hoyoung, these skills look shiny though. 5, 6 times up to 8 enemies. Graceful Flight and Nimbus Clouds uses are reset. Yeah, 8-second cooldown. These new rocks. Mini Shangri-La. 656 times 10 enemies. Normal monsters will be stunned for 5 seconds. New ass cudgel. Bam. Gold-banded cudgel. Summon a weapon of an ancient siege. 455% 10 times. Then a final strike deals 830% damage 8 times. Damage is increased by 30% when attacking boss monsters. 11-second cooldown. Look at these cool ass animations. Damn. Wonders of Heaven and Earth. When you complete Stage 3 Heaven, Earth, Humanity element links 5 times, the next Heaven, Consuming Flames, Earthstone, Tremor, or Humanity Gold-banded Cudgel will be enhanced. After using the enhanced skill, increase your final damage by 10% for 30 seconds. with a cooldown of 30 seconds. Wow. So you're gonna have to be squeezing between all of your skills even more, making sure that you can just have a permanent 10% final damage. Interesting. Enhanced Heaven consuming 810% damage 6 times. Use a skill. Create a flame emblem for 15 seconds. When Huyang's attacks an enemy 3 times, the flame will explode your location, deals 685 5 times and up to 10 enemies with a cooldown of 8 seconds. If using Heaven consuming, you can link. Deals 10% damage 6 times up to 8 enemies. Okay. Enhanced Earth Stone Tremor 1010% damage 6 times up to enemies. Normal. Blue Moon Rise. Yeah, so we said the extra after image stuff. 730% 5 times up to 8 enemies with a 6-second cooldown. Not too bad. And then Enhanced Stone Tremor 10% 6 times up to 10 enemies. And then Enhanced Humanity, Gold Banded Cudgel 6. 725 10 times. And a Final Strike with 20% damage 8 times. Faster Ends, activate Goblin Energy that deals 25% damage 8 times. And damage is increased by 30% when attacking boss monsters. But some of these seem crazy imbalanced. Some of them probably will be. Oh, I'm out of water. But the thing is also that these are just the initial draws, and the percentages can still be adjusted, the amount of hits can still be adjusted. They are, you know, in the early stages of having this, well, late stages of the development, but the early stages of having this in the test environment with players, so some stuff will still change. A bunch of skill animations have already changed since the showcase as well. There's still a lot of development going on, and there's about 3 more weeks, 2.5 weeks more of, until it actually goes into the live servers in Korea, so. And like they said in the beginning, some classes may get like a disproportionate advantage from this pretty early on. But eventually more cores will come, more stats will happen, more things will be added to the game. Which will make it so that eventually the classes should all get rounded out better. Just like it was with 5th Job. Okay. And then we have the big old skill, which probably hits pretty hard. Hold the key down for up to 5 seconds. Deal 2700% damage 3 times and up to 15 enemies. Then an attack that deals 1200% damage 5 times. When the key down ends, or you reach the maximum key down time, activate 9 primal explosions, deal 4.8k 8 times and up to 15 enemies. Oh no, that's actually not that crazy, right? 72. That's like 300,000. Well, in total, it's only like 350,000 damage, so it's not as crazy. But I'm guessing that this will give them quite a bit more damage, and the 10% final damage helps a lot, of course. So the BMA's not liking the ammo gauge. I kind of like it. It hits hard. Yeah, things like that kind of change how you need to play your character. That's what I was talking about in the beginning. I don't know if it's a good idea. Or it's tricky to try to keep the character of the class very, very similar, which you want to do because people have dedicated a lot of time on their character. You don't want to basically force them out like they need to switch characters. But at the same time, you want to expand the themes that they have and still power creep them in a way that fits their theming. You know, like it's not a exact science. There are gonna be some hits and some misses, right? Skill UI has been improved overall to match the addition of the 6th job advancement. Bro, look at all the text in one window, bro. Skill tooltips have been improved. The way the enhanced arrow and advanced enhanced arrow work has been changed. Sniping and piercing will now have their own separate stack of enhanced arrow. It has been improved so that it is more intuitive to see sniping and piercing's enhanced arrow stacks. The feature where enhancing sniping would create a sniper's mark on enemies that has been removed. Sniping will now leave a mark on enemy's hit. If enhanced sniping hits an enemy with a mark, it will activate an additional hit. Okay. Take that. Fenrir Crash attack range has been increased by about 15%. Spiral Mana for Evan attack range has been increased by about 29%. Shade True Spirit Claw skill effect has been changed. Oh. That looks pretty cool. Whichever since GMS says attack speed 0, we just spam Earth Cudgel and basically forget the other skills while bossing. So the new skills seem kind of weird for GMS. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because their balance is different. It's gonna impact us maybe in a more unpredictable way. This is also why whenever changes come out, I'm always kind of hesitant when people make like tier lists of like, this is how good the class is going to be when it hits us. It's like, how do you really know that? Like, you have to practice it with a rank of attack speed that hasn't been done yet. That could, you know, show different combos, show different potential if you give it, you know, put it into the hands of people who actually know how to play their character properly. I don't know how you can predict. I don't think you can predict to that extent of, you know, accuracy, like how that's really going to change the classes. Rezopopon and Thyrend, thank you for the follows. Battle Mage, Death, fix an issue where the V-Matrix core enhancement level 20 effect did not apply properly. Kaiser Slasher's skill effect has been changed. Oh. Draco Slasher, nice. Chin Art Stroke, this skill can now be registered in the quick slot, and Spotlight, the ability to turn the skill background music on and off, has been added. Wow, that's a lot. I might take the time to go through this stuff a little bit more and make some timestamps here and there. But maybe not, because it's going to be long as fuck. But yeah, so that's all we know so far of all the 6 job skills all in one place. Make sure you add the link in the description and everything so you can check it all out for yourself. And then when it's uploaded and all, it'll be in a command in the stream and all that shit. But yeah, that's a lot. And this is only like such a small part of what 6 job is going to be, right? Like 6 job quote unquote being done is probably going to be like 3 to 4 times this size because of all the extra mastery cores, stat cores, or mastery nodes, I guess. Stat nodes, enhancement nodes, and maybe more origin skills. It might be just 1. Maybe they'll really keep it to just 1 this time. But all the other empowerments, it's going to be so many more numbers and so many more stats and so many more different animations and all that, so... Arc 6 looks so base, honestly. Well, I looked at the number. The 900% damage 3 times doesn't seem that amazing, but you can build up to 300 stacks on it, so if you get all of those to go off during burst, that's an extra 810% damage, which is, you know, compared to the other classes, to the other skills, definitely not one of the worst ones. But yeah. Actually, I want to double check because I wasn't really calculating the percentages in the beginning. I want to see what the fire poison, because it felt like that one probably hit very hard, but I didn't really do the numbers switch here. Oh yeah, because you have double fervent. Yeah, that you have to calculate that in. 6 explosions 8 times on 7.2 and 8 explosions 12 times on 5.4. So that's almost 100. So this is over 500,000% damage, and this is 90 times 7. So it's 630%. Okay, yeah, so it is like 1.2 mil plus, or 1.25 mil or something like that, plus an extra double length on your burst. Deceptive because it doesn't deal many big... yeah, exactly, but that's what we've been used to for Arc for now, right? Yeah. But okay, yeah. So let me know what classes you're playing, what classes what skills from which classes you're most excited about, and which ones you are least excited about and hope they do something cool with. Maybe, you know, change the numbers a little bit, change the shapes and size, the mechanics, whatever needs to be changed. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. And thank you for checking out the video. Have a good one. Bye-bye.